The day was the 24th of September 2020. Nigeria, much like every other nation in the world, was reeling and licking its wounds from an unprecedented global pandemic that would change everything about the way we live and operate. Such was the atmosphere within which the Tertiary Education Trust Fund commissioned what it calls the Research and Development Standing Committee, a think tank comprising over 160 members drawn from the country's best academics, researchers and innovators, representatives of relevant MDAs and the private sector. It was fortuitous, almost prophetic, that TETFund would embark on a paradigm shift at such a turbulent time, which emphasized the importance of innovation. These are the chronicles of the journey towards the institutionalization of research and development in Nigeria. Hello, I am Stanley Bentu. Welcome to this edition of TETFund, the Paradigm Shift. Research is the bedrock of any progressive and developed economy, just as development is hinged upon the cultivation of a consistent culture of research. Now, no meaningful country or economy should choose to gloss over this phenomenon if it wants to remain within the community of progressive nations. Little wonder when the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, under the leadership of Professor Suleiman Elias Bogoro, molded the idea of making a historic move at shifting the paradigm of Nigeria's economy. The whole country and its progressives rose in support of this initiative. This TETFund initiative was brought to fruition on the 24th of September 2020 with the formation and inauguration of the Research and Development Standing Committee, RDSC. One of the core objectives of the RDSC is to midwife the birth of the National Research and Development Foundation, a body which will be established by law and become the driving force behind Nigeria's industrialization and economic self-reliance. The foundation will be the catalyst for the creation of a new knowledge-based economy and catapult Nigeria and Nigerian products to global competitiveness, which will in turn arrest the ugly brain drain in the country. It's been a little over a year since this journey officially began. How has the committee fared since then? Where are we now on this project? Let's take a look at this report.
The primary purpose of our gathering here today is to officially inaugurate the Research and Development Standing Committee approved by TETFund Board of Trustees to redefine our focus and drive a paradigm shift in our R&D enterprise.
1 year down the line, the TETFund RDSC, headed by Professor Emeritus M.N. Gadzema, galvanized support, mobilized resources and traversed all the nooks and crannies of the country, including physical and virtual engagement with the international community, which enabled them offer constructive recommendations for the maximization of the country's research and development strengths. These recommendations make up about 32 reports these subcommittees turned in.
The master plan is the one that has aggregated the different sectors of the economy that is being prioritized, and they will have it centrally placed in a single document. What we are looking at, like the CEO of NESG said, is that we are forecasting the operationalization of National Research and Development Foundation. So, and they are going to be reference documents. So at that point, we don't want a situation whereby we have a structure, we don't have a content. We will not repeat that mistake. The content will have been there, and when the structure is being built, there are things that you can immediately leverage and start working. And then the emergency that the ES have declared on this to make this happen in 9 months, which is a record time, is what is actually driving all these type of reports.
In carrying out their mandate, The committee members distributed themselves into thematic groups cutting across key sectors of the Nigerian economy. The Technical Coordination Team, TCT, under the leadership of Mustapha Popola, was responsible for steering the affairs of these thematic groups, managing the synergy to achieve seamless results. These thematic groups include agriculture, which looked into ways of aggregating research and innovations in agriculture for enhancement of the value addition, and agribusiness for the sustenance of livelihood, assurance of food security, and improvement of the national economy. The Environment and Bioresources Group looked at the possibilities of using research and case studies in mitigating the effects of climate change, ensuring environmental sustainability, and protecting the national ecosystem and biodiversity. The Human and Animal Medicine Group occupied itself with fashioning out ways of applying knowledge gained from years of research and clinical trials to improve healthcare delivery, mitigate disease spread, produce vaccines, and halt medical tourism and capital flight from the country. The Pharmaceuticals Group looked into the possibility of employing outcomes of research and coordinated field clinical trials to make pharmaceutical breakthroughs, including the production of vaccines, while the ICT Digital Economy Group were out to develop Nigeria into digital economy and position the nation for cybersecurity and 21st century technology competences. The Petroleum Fossil Resources, Solid Minerals and Mining is another strategic group that focused on developing cutting-edge research and development in geophysical investigations, subsea geological engineering to improve drilling and mineral extraction techniques so as to increase revenue generation, improve livelihood whilst protecting the environment. The Industrialization Group sought to promote industrialization, investment, and manufacturing with the objective of creating the enabling environment for doing business and ensuring economic growth resulting in employment creation and improved quality of life. Engineering, Technology, and Material Science Development Group also looked at ways of employing research outcomes and global technological breakthroughs and innovations to evolve sustainable technologies and develop a comprehensive roadmap for engineering practice in the country. Infrastructure Development Group sought ways of using the outcomes of research and technological innovations, evolve a sound and solid national infrastructure base resulting in a coordinated sustainable development that is cost-effective, safe, and reliable. Education Group sought ways of improving quality of teaching, learning, and developing qualitative and quantitative curricula, as well as ensuring effective partnership between tertiary institutions and industry. The Energy Group worked on how Nigeria could use research-based knowledge, develop technologies to enhance exploration of renewable energy while preserving the environment, as well as creating employment in the sector. Governance, Social Development and Internal Security Group was out to employ research and research findings to enhance good governance, social development and internal security, especially appropriate policies and their implementation. While the Defense and Security Group concerned itself with how to use research, source intelligence, and advanced technology to ensure the effective defense of our national territorial integrity as well as internal security. All the efforts of these subcommittees and their recommendations have been injected into a draft of an executive bill for the establishment of the National Research and Development Foundation, which is in the pipeline. When this foundation comes into being, a foundation has literally been laid for the building of a new Nigeria.
Now, exciting times lay ahead of the country with the imminent emergence of the National Research and Development Foundation. The federal government has received the draft executive bill for the establishment of the NRDF. The executive secretary of TETFund, Professor Bogoro, received the draft bill from the NRDF Bill Drafting Committee right here in Abuja on behalf of the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, and that was in August of 2021. At the ceremony, he commended the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, for the participation of staff from the Ministry of Justice. According to Professor Bogoro, with the draft bill already submitted, a foundation has been laid for driving Nigeria's economy. But what is the proposed structure of this foundation? How will it operate? Who is envisioned to be involved in running it? The Paradigm Shift recently put these questions to two members of the drafting committee who had this to say. Take a look.
In collaboration with TETFund, are looking at a governing structure whereby it is positioned in the presidency first, so that there will be that autonomy. Because you see, industry is a major partner. And if you want industry to really partner with you, they must have autonomy. They will not want the bureaucracy of government to hamper their progress. So we looked at all other agencies that have actually succeeded in achieving their objectives. And we felt maybe this should come under the presidency. Now, then of course, create a board of trustees. And this board of trustees we should make sure that the membership cuts across all the stakeholders that are essential in making sure that the foundation works and functions well. So you're looking at membership from the government agencies, and the government agencies that are directly related to research and development. You're looking at membership from the industry. You're looking at membership from the academia. And in the academia, you're looking at, the different parts of the academics, looking at science, looking at technology, looking at social sciences, looking at humanities, Then we're also looking at membership from international bodies, donor agencies, because we're hoping that funding will not just come from the government. So funding should come from international organizations, donor agencies, industry, and therefore they should have also a stake at the workings of the foundation, and therefore we're looking at membership also from that aspect. And then we're looking at membership from even the professional bodies, key professional bodies that really are directly related to research and development. So with all this membership will now form a board, and this board will be responsible for actually ensuring that the management of the board are on track in trying to achieve the goals of the foundation. We're also looking at, having some deputies that are also representing the key stakeholders. So you're looking at deputies that are representing industry, deputies that are representing academia, deputies that are representing the government. This is really, we're looking at trying to ensure that, all these people work together. So this foundation cannot be just an academic agency or just an industrial agency or government agency. There must be these three working together.
When you're seeking to draft a law, it involves a lot of technical expertise, it involves a lot of nuances that you need to think through carefully. And given the nature of the foundation that is sought to be created, you need to also have a sense of comparative perspectives. What is the development in other parts of the world? So these are the things that we've been trying to do in order to put in place a draft executive bill that will hopefully be fit for purpose.
Now, one may ask, why go through all this trouble? Does research culture not already exist in Nigeria? Well, yes and no. You see, it all comes down to the difference between basic and applied research. The objective of academic and institutional R&D is to obtain new knowledge, which may or may not be applied to practical uses. In contrast, the objective of industrial R&D is to obtain new knowledge applicable to a country or company's business needs, that eventually will result in new and improved products, processes, systems, or services that can increase sales and profits. So now we understand that research and development is a process intended to create new or improved technology that can provide a competitive advantage at the business, industry, or national level. While the rewards can be very high, the process of technological innovation, of which R&D is the first phase, is complex and risky. It would require a large commitment and a huge national effort. I recently sat down with Dr. Ayo Popola, who is the technical assistant to the executive secretary of TETFund on Research and Development, and he's also the leader of the technical coordination team. He gave us a breakdown of the last 1 year of activities of the RDSC. It's a pleasure to have you on the Paradigm Shift.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure, a long time, and I think it has been a worthwhile experience out there.
It certainly has. Let's start with the RDSC. Yep. The last time we spoke, there was the committee that was set up to come up with a draft bill for the Research and Development Foundation for Nigeria. What has happened since then?
Yeah, I can assure you that yes, the committee has actually worked day and night, and they've actually produced the first draft, and that draft was actually revalidated, and as I'm speaking to you now, we have the final draft of the executive bill that will lead to the establishment of National R&D Foundation from this country. And not only that, the particular document, after finalization, and everybody on the team has been able to sign off on that document, then it has been submitted to the Executive Secretary of TETFund in person of Professor Esibugoro, who has actually taken it further for processing. And as I'm speaking to you now, the document is at the Federal Ministry of Education for onward transmission through the Honorable Minister of Education to the Federal Executive Council, and for their consideration and eventual transmission of that document to the National Assembly by the President of the country. So essentially, the thought from the beginning is that it's going to be an executive bill. We want a situation whereby it is owned by this country. It is not by a section of the country. So, and we know what Executive Council represents. And this is a bribe that everybody and the President and President Muhammadu Buhari can actually give us a lofty gift to this nation. Essentially, that is what is in that bill. And that is the only thing that we know can actually lead or transform this country and translate our laggard natural resources that we'll be talking about potentials, translate it into opportunity, and translate it to jobs. So in critical terms, it's going to revolutionize our economy and lead us straight away to the knowledge economy.
And that is one of the things that I wanted to speak with you about, especially the manufacturing thematic area. Manufacturing is one of the challenges that Nigeria has. As a matter of fact, Nigeria currently is ranking very low in the economic complexity index. So how does the work done by the RDSC affect Nigeria's ability to industrialize?
So again, you know, we are very clear to say that from beginning, this particular project, we look at 13 thematic groups, and that particular thematic area are not subject areas of tertiary or academic work. They're actually components of our business activity of the economy that is going to be contributing nothing less than 90% of our GDP going forward. There are existing sectors of the economy that we look at, and that is why the NRDF is not exactly like NRF. NRF is being administered at tertiary institution, so that is academic based. We are looking at a particular funding line that is going to be economic based. So that is why the new thinking around education today. And you can see that we are not talking about 6334 system. We are talking about what is the interlink, what is the interface between the education somebody can get at Panteka and the type of internship that is going on there that is not that organized but is working over the year, and what we do within the four-wall class of the classroom where we are teaching entrepreneurship. So for us, that is the kind of thinking. It is radical, really. It is something that is not imaginable. Many of them are not documented, but we know they are working. So what happens in our health system, where for long, the veterinary doctors have no business with the human doctor, whereas we are having pandemics that are zoonotic in nature. So diseases are coming from our farm animals, from our pet animals, and the doctors that are veterinary in training are not talking to those ones that are having human medicine as their discipline. We cannot continue to do that. And nobody is going to be in isolation when there's a problem. Remember, during this pandemic, we have some of the livestock that were wiped out because they are reservoir to COVID-19. So it is only on this platform that we are actually very strong and we are clear about saying we need to actually mainstream what we call the One Health. And in One Health, you are talking about environmental health, human health, animal health, including the wildlife. So those people that are playing within that space, we've seen from our experience in Egypt that vaccine production, even for COVID, involve veterinary experts and the human medicine experts. And the two of them work together to come up with what they can today is called their own candidate vaccine for COVID. Why are we going to be different? So for us, you can see that the type of thing we are putting together now under the RDSC is speaking to issues of economic importance. It's speaking to things that even the industry will be interested. We're actually collapsing the silos. So the human doctor, environmental experts, and the veterinary doctor are under the same roof, talking together, discussing together, to look at the immediate pandemic we have today and the future diseases that we may have tomorrow. So that is the kind of things that we are doing. And it is only that seriousness that can appetize those people that are in the private sector and the manufacturers to come around and speak to these people. They will see the seriousness. They will see the solution they can uptake. So if you're actually coming up with a lot of research outcome that is not appetizing enough for commercialization, no industry, no manufacturer, we approach you.
A lot of the work of the RDSC has been presented and assessed online in some of the meetings that you've been having over the years. I'm quite curious about the petroleum sector because this is our major source of revenue from outside the world, and it has such an impact on even the value of the naira. And yet, one of our biggest imports is petrol. So unless we learn to add value to this raw material, within the next 30 or 40 years, we might find ourselves in very big trouble. So what are some of the things that have been spoken about within the RDSC that impacts on value addition in the petroleum sector?
Thank you very much. And I think I need to even say this clearly, that we cannot join those people that are actually crying foul because we have electric cars and the new generation of vehicles, and they are thinking with petroleum, you are doomed in the next few years. I think that is hypnosis. We should be serious as a people, and that's what we actually did at RDSC, to look at the interlink between the petroleum sector, the general mining sector conceptually, and look at our general mineral resources and see what we can do in adding value. Permit me to say that for years, a lot of people today are actually enjoying the use of petroleum, PMS, diesel and everything because of some people's research 1,000 years ago or 100 years ago. If they have never researched it and they don't understand the concept of fractional distillation that is being used in actually coming out with a lot of products from petroleum, then it may be amazing to you that we will not know that crude oil is valuable. But I need to say that our focus in the RDSC specifically is on petrochemicals. And this is going to put Nigeria in a vantage position because you see the interlink and interface between petroleum and pharmaceutical, for example. So, and if those are the resources that we have, it is only R&D that can assist us to look at that resources and see how many other products can we have. What do you do with polymers? So a lot of hydrocarbon induce the production systems that are available across the world. Again, part of our problem as a country is that our focus has been on PMS, and that is the most common, that is the cheapest anybody could go to, and that is what we are building refinery around.
Thanks to the paradigm shift of TETFund, young Nigerians have an opportunity to dream that one day their creative energies and innovative thoughts can be translated to goods, products, and services that can solve problems within the country and even be exported abroad, yielding much needed profits and income. And that is the paradigm shift. Join us again next time. Until then, thank you for stopping by.